this episode, I come face to face with a great white shark for the very first time, leading to one of the most surreal and intense experiences of my life. Welcome back to Deep Down Under Spearfishing. If you're new here, my name's Dean, and I believe the ocean is the closest we can come to another world. It covers over 70% of the Earth's surface and holds more than 80% of all known life. Yet it's still a mystery, with over 91% of marine species believed to be undiscovered. Its deepest point reaches nearly 11,000 metres. That's 2,000 metres deeper than Mount Everest is tall. For me, spearfishing isn't just a hobby. It's essential to my mental and physical health. Every time I dive, I disconnect from daily life and I immerse myself in a world that very few people get to truly experience. Spearfishing has opened my eyes to the ocean's fragility and taught me how to give back. Recreational fishing and spearfishing account for less than 1% of the global seafood take. I take only what I need, targeting abundant, sustainable species. There's no bycatch, no waste. A commercial vessel can harvest more fish in just a few minutes than I'll catch in my entire lifetime. Spearfishing and fishing is also a way for me to provide. I've been fortunate to catch kingfish, snapper, lobster, abalone, seafood that I cannot afford to buy regularly. When I catch my own food, I know exactly where it came from, how it was handled, and that it's fresh, clean, and chemical free. That peace of mind doesn't come from a supermarket shelf. Sharing food I've caught with friends and family is one of the most rewarding parts of the journey. It's also sparked a passion for cooking I never expected. From sashimi, ceviche and poke bowls to Vietnamese rolls, fish curries and more. But the journey isn't always about the catch. Many dives end with empty hands, but never without a full heart. From encounters with sharks, dolphins, fish and whales to silent moments in untouched reefs. Capturing and sharing these priceless experiences is something I'm very passionate about. Introducing others to the sport and watching them land their first fish or to meet their first turtle is just as rewarding. Harvesting your own food is a lost tradition, and once you've experienced the full process, it grabs a hold of you. It becomes a part of who you are, because deep down inside of us, it's part of our ancestry and what we were designed to do. Welcome to my channel, Deep Down Under Spearfishing. Today I'm diving solo at Mistral Point, a rugged headland on the northern end of Maroubra Beach. It sits about 7 kilometres south of the famous Bondi Beach and just 4 kilometres north of Little Bay, where swimmer Simon Nellis tragically lost his life and was mostly consumed by a 3-metre great white shark back in February 2022. This spot's popular for whale watching up on the cliffs, but diving access is limited. You've got to swim more than 100 metres just to reach the point, so you're very isolated and exposed once you're out there. I've dived here plenty of times, and like most headlands, it's a marine life highway. I've come across whales, turtles, massive schools of bonito, kingfish, salmon, and of course, where there's fish and bait, there's always sharks. Most of the sharks I've seen here are bronze whalers, sharks I've grown fairly comfortable around. Sure, they've taxed me a few fish over the years, especially in New Zealand, but thankfully my encounters have been with these non-mammal eating sharks. Well, that was until today's dive. As I'm getting ready, there's pods of dolphins cruising by and whales breaching out in the distance. Today's target species is snapper. They come into the shallows during winter, which gives us the opportunity to try and get one. Just like this one I got a few weeks beforehand. I jump in and immediately I notice a milky colour to the water and I feel very uncomfortable about it. I notice a bit of fishing line, so I do my part, clean it up, chuck it into my catch bag. I'm then surrounded by a school of salmon. These fish are not highly regarded in Australia, however the Kiwis have taught me that when they're handled correctly and cooked properly, they're absolutely delicious, especially when they're smoked in manuka wood chips. I find this nice fishy ledge and I can see that there's a few small snapper in the distance, so I know I'm in the right area. I decide to start burleying up some kinner to try and bring them closer. Then I decided to burley up the water with some of my salmon. This of course comes with an elevated risk and should be carefully considered before burleying up. Here's an example of when I was burleying up in New Zealand and a bronzy came straight in. As Spearos, we accept that eventually we're going to encounter sharks. We're in their home playing with fish that activate their prey drive. I'm aware that for the most part we're not on their menu, and sometimes we're expected to pay our taxes. Great whites, however, are in a league of their own. They are true apex predators of the ocean. Unlike most sharks, they prey on mammals like seals, sea lions, dolphins, and even other sharks. Encounters are extremely rare. Most spearfishermen will go their entire lives without ever seeing one, but your chances are never zero, and today I found that out firsthand. My salmon has been in my cray bag for an hour and a half at this stage. It's tangled in the fishing line I collected earlier. I'll often put rubbish and fishing line in this netted bag to remove it from the water after my dive. I also put my catch in it as it deters the sharks from taxing my fish. While I'm on the surface preparing for another dive, the SharkSmart app picks up a tagged female great white within my proximity, but I am completely unaware that she is to the right, observing my every movement. I slowly turn, I see her, I turn my camera on, and before it can even turn on, she turns and comes straight towards me. I don't know why she made that sudden approach, but it felt like a test, like she was sizing me up. Thankfully she veers off though and seems to settle down. I'm isolated along the cliff face and there's nowhere for me to go. If I swim away, I know she'll pick up on my fear and I won't be able to guard and protect my legs, so I decide my best option is to hold my ground and try and appear like I'm a threat. After a few close passes, she seems to lose interest in sizing me up and shifts her attention to the salmon instead. I briefly consider removing the salmon from the fish bag, but she's given me no room and I know the fish is tangled and requires both of my hands to get it out. But I quickly decide that hand feeding a great white a dead smelly fish with my bare hands while I'm unarmed isn't a risk I'm willing to take. I swim toward her, spear gun extended. I'm doing my best to look like a threat, hoping it's enough to make her think twice before deciding I'm worth the risk. She shows no sign of being fazed by me at all, circling wide before turning in the direction of me and the fish in the bag. I decide to duck dive and meet her on her level, swimming head on in a strong attempt to warn her off. It's at that point that she veers broadside and for the first time I see the full scale of her size. I'm completely lost for words with how beautiful this shark is. I try to stop my hands from trembling to mask the fear as I push my spear gun out towards her. I match her movements, constantly turning and staying face to face. I can't risk letting her slip to the side of my body where I'd have no barrier between us. She makes several passes before brushing a pectoral fin along the bag with the salmon. I can sense that she's getting impatient because she can't get to the fish. I hear a loud alarm going off and I lift my head out of the water. I'm praying that someone sees me and called for help, but at the same time, I know there's nothing anyone can do. I drop my head back underwater and that's when I see her coming straight towards me. I wasn't sure if she was testing me again or preparing to have a strike, but I wasn't waiting to find out and I had to act. I drive the spear into her nose, but it's like hitting a wall of muscle. The force completely flexes the spear and it almost derails from my gun. The scariest part is that she's barely concerned, and that's when reality sets in. This spear gun isn't stopping her. She's edging in closer and becoming more impatient. I don't want to wait to see what she decides to do next, so I start making a quiet and slow retreat towards the shore. I'm watching her closely to see her change in behaviour while I switch from fight to flight mode. That's when my heart rate spikes. I start to panic. The milky water swallows her from my view, and suddenly I've lost her. I catch a brief glimpse and she's behind me, cutting between me and the fish. This time moving faster, more agitated. Then she's gone again, vanished. I'm spinning in circles trying to cover every angle, but deep down I know, if she wants me, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm doing the best I can to keep my fins below the surface to stop them from splashing. I'm trying to move slowly, knowing there's no way I can outswim this shark. Every metre feels like a marathon. That 100 metres might be the longest swim of my life, with every second feeling like I'm being hunted. As I reach the whitewash, my visibility vanishes. I'm blind. I don't know where she is or if she's behind me. The swell slams off the back of the rocks, holding me in place. I'm trapped in the surge, waiting, heart racing, as I wait for the moment of calm, just long enough to make my move and get out.
Oh shit, what a bloody thrill. Now, well, I'm alive.
Just wanted to let you know that there's a white in the area. He's not massive, big enough to scare you, but I just thought I'd let you know that there's one in the area. I was absolutely blown away by how calm I stayed throughout the entire encounter. I felt like my body kicked into survival mode, doing whatever it had to for me to make it out safely. But the moment it was all over, the adrenaline hit me like a ton of bricks. My legs went to jelly, I was shaking, and I could barely form a sentence.
Mahan Paul. Sorry mate, I'm a bit shaken up.
One of the boys that were fishing here let me use their phone and just call the lifeguards just to raise it that there's a white swimming around here. God, they're beautiful fish, aren't they? Like, absolutely beautiful. Just the sheer size of them, how thick they are. And just when I jabbed him with the spear gun to warn him off, you just feel how tough their skin is, you know? Looking back, there were several factors that increased the risk during this dive. I was diving alone, I'd chummed up the area, and I didn't have a float boat to keep the fish out of the water. I stored the catch in a net that I couldn't quickly access with one hand to ditch the fish if I needed to. On top of that, I was too far from any safe exit, leaving me isolated and with no option but to hold my ground. I'm not sharing this to over-dramatise what happened. In fact, I don't think any amount of storytelling could truly match the intensity and fear I felt in those moments. I'm also not out to make people believe great whites deliberately hunt humans. If she truly wanted to eat me, she would have done it long before I even saw her. But that's not to say she didn't consider taking a curious bite after figuring out what I was. Shark-related deaths are incredibly rare, but I'm also aware that they're not non-existent. It's important to remember great whites are far different to every other shark. They're mammal eaters, and there's not much they don't eat. I know that my fish likely triggered her prey instincts, but I still can't explain her intentions with her initial approach, or the final close encounter when she swam towards me head on. In those two moments, the fish was not near me. We'll never know her exact intent, and while people can speculate and have opinions, I'll always wonder how different it might have played out, with how I would have reacted, and how she would have reacted if I didn't have my spear gun between us. What I do know is that she was an absolute stunning animal. Being in her presence was unforgettable, terrifying, humbling, and captivating all at once. I may never experience anything like this again in my entire lifetime. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. It really helps share the journey with more people. And if you're keen to join me on the next experience immersed in the underwater world, then make sure to subscribe. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.